My name's Katharine Frost, and I'm mum to Shell Frost, who spent the last 3 months of her life at Katharine House. Shell was diagnosed with cervical cancer, aged 26. At the time she was travelling. She was quite a spirited young lady and living life to the full, and she was travelling Australia, Asia, New Zealand. Found out that she had cervical cancer and returned home for treatment. Sadly, quite quickly the cancer progressed, and despite chemotherapy and radiotherapy, she failed to beat it. Somebody suggested to us that we ought to approach our local hospice. At first we were really reluctant about that, because I think that word hospice is just a word that people don't want to be associated with. It's a place where people go to die, it's a depressing place. The first time I dropped her off, I actually didn't stay very long. I was upset, felt the need to leave quickly, cried outside, went home, went back again, and there was Shell, smiling, glass of wine in hand, being waited on hand and foot. They provided her with plenty of food, plenty of drink, and it began to feel a bit like home. She actually had visitors who came from the other side of the world to see her during this time, and they stayed. They were made welcome at Katharine House, so there was backpacks and people lying around on the floor in Shell's room, and that was fine. I felt like, oh gosh, this is a kind of hospital setup. You can't just come and go and have your friends around. But actually no, it was home for Michelle, and they allowed her to treat it very much like a home. So we could visit whenever we wanted to visit. We took her out. They gave us the drugs and the painkillers that she needed to be able to go out. They were always on the end of the phone. In hindsight, I think what they enabled me to do at the time was go back to being Shell's mum. Suddenly, Shell was just a couple of miles from home instead of 20 miles from home, and she was getting a lot of care, attention, drugs, relief, and I could just visit, I could just be mum. At the same time, they helped me, and I didn't realise that was going to be available to me at the time. It was all about Shell for all of the illness, really. I'd seen Michelle having these lovely hand massages and reflexology and aromatherapy, but actually it was available to me as a carer too. So for an hour a week, I too had this lovely luxury of someone coming to the home and helping me to relax a little bit and have some me time, which in the middle of your daughter being terminally ill is really, really important. She suddenly said, "I'd like Christmas, Mum. I'd like a Christmas because I might not be here." This was in June. So we decided that we would couple it with a day on a barge, because Michelle could actually just sit and watch the world go by and enjoy the day without too much physical effort. Christmas dinner and carols and Santa and all the things that you have at Christmas. They'd actually taken on board, without us saying anything, that it was Shell's Christmas day. Shell rang to say, "The staff have woken me with carols this morning and my room is decorated," and sure enough, the room was full of Christmas. Nativity scene, Christmas tree. I don't think there was anything that wasn't draped in tinsel, as well as cards and presents on the bed and cards from other relatives and other people who were staying there too. So they really had gone above and beyond what they needed to do to help Shell have a really nice Christmas day. We didn't know it was her last Christmas day, but that's the way it went. It's quite a personal and probably the most distressing experience that anybody will go through. But because we had that relationship with the staff, they were able to be with us. They weren't intrusive, they were supportive. They cried with us, which surprised me. I thought they might be a little bit detached, seeing as they did that for a living, but actually no, they held our hands while we held Shell's, and they cried too.